What would you do if the person cleaning your floors could kill a man with a soup spoon? Marcus Chen thought he knew everyone in his mansion. The gardener who hummed old songs while trimming roses. The chef who left him handwritten notes about his favorite meals. The security team with their earpieces and serious faces. But the quiet woman who dusted his shelves and folded his clothes remained a mystery. Elena Vasquez had worked for the Chen family for 3 years. She arrived at dawn, left at dusk, and spoke only when spoken to. She moved through the 30-room estate like a ghost, invisible and efficient. The other staff barely noticed her. Marcus certainly didn't. That was his first mistake. His second mistake was thinking money could protect him from everything. His third mistake was underestimating the woman who knew every secret passage in his house, every blind spot in his security system, and exactly how many steps it took to reach him from any room in the mansion. Some people collect art. Others collect cars. Elena Vasquez collected skills that could keep people alive. And, on a Tuesday morning in October, when armed men scaled the walls of the Chen estate, Marcus would discover that his quiet maid was the most dangerous person he'd ever met. The newspapers would later call it the miracle of Malibu Hills. The police would file reports full of questions they couldn't answer. But Marcus would always remember it as the day he learned that sometimes guardian angels wear cleaning aprons and speak softly while carrying the deadliest secrets. Marcus Chen's morning routine never changed. Coffee at 6:30, served in his study overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Business calls to Hong Kong and Singapore while most of Los Angeles still slept. Elena would slip in at exactly 7:15 to dust the bookshelves, her movements so quiet he sometimes forgot she was there. She was forgettable by design. Average height, average build, brown hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. Her uniform was always pressed, never wrinkled. She spoke English with a slight accent he could never place, and she answered his questions with yes, Mr. Chen, or no, Mr. Chen, and nothing more. This morning felt different, though Marcus couldn't pinpoint why. Elena had arrived as usual, but something in her posture seemed more alert. She dusted each book with careful precision, but her eyes kept drifting to the windows. When his phone rang, she paused in her cleaning, listening to his conversation about the Jakarta deal. Problems with the shipping manifest, Marcus said into his headset, walking to the window. The ground stretched below him like a green carpet, perfectly maintained and absolutely empty. His security team of 6 men monitored everything from the gatehouse. Motion sensors covered every inch of the property. He was as safe as money could make him. Elena finished with the books and moved to his desk, arranging papers he'd left scattered from last night's work. Her movements were efficient but not rushed. She picked up his coffee cup to refill it, and Marcus noticed her hands. They were smaller than he remembered, but there were calluses on her knuckles he'd never seen before. "Elena," he said, covering the phone. "How long have you worked here?" 3 years, 2 months, Mr. Chen." "Where did you work before?" She paused, holding his coffee cup. "Different places, sir." Something in her tone made him look at her more carefully. Her face remained neutral, professional. But her eyes held depths he hadn't noticed before. Dark eyes that seemed to catalog everything they saw. The call ended, and Marcus walked back to his desk. Elena had arranged his papers in perfect order, but he noticed she'd moved his letter opener to a different position. Not random, deliberate. As if she'd been testing its weight. "Will there be anything else, Mr. Chen?" "No, that's fine. Thank you." She nodded and headed for the door, but stopped when his private line rang. Most people didn't have this number. His business associates used his main line. Family used his cell phone. This line was for emergencies. "Marcus Chen. We know you're alone up there." The voice was electronically disguised, metallic and cold. "Your security team is taking an unscheduled break." Marcus felt ice in his stomach. He looked toward the window, but couldn't see the gatehouse from this angle. "What do you want?" "Everything. Your account numbers, your passwords, your cooperation. You have 10 minutes before we come in." The line went dead. Marcus grabbed his cell phone to call his head of security, but there was no signal. They were jamming communications somehow. His landline was dead too. He ran to the window and saw movement near the front gate. 3 black SUVs had pulled up outside his property. Men in tactical gear were moving across his lawn with practiced precision. Professional. Military. His hands shook as he reached for the panic button hidden beneath his desk. He pressed it 3 times, the sequence that should have brought his security team running and alerted the private response company he paid $40,000 a month. Nothing happened. The house felt enormous around him, 30 rooms suddenly, seeming like a maze with too many places to hide and not enough ways out. His safe room was on the first floor, but these men would expect that. They'd have blueprints. They'd have studied his routines. Marcus grabbed his laptop and started deleting files, wiping financial data that could destroy him if it fell into wrong hands. His fingers moved frantically across the keyboard, but he could hear them now. Voices outside. The sound of equipment. They were surrounding the house. A soft knock at his study door made him freeze. "Mr. Chen?" Elena's voice, calm as always. "Elena, get out of the house. Now. Call the police." The door opened and she stepped inside, closing it behind her. But, instead of panic, her face showed something else. Calculation. "How many men did you see?" she asked. "What?" "Outside. How many men?" Marcus stared at her. This wasn't the response he expected from his maid. "I don't know. Maybe 12. "Elena, we need to 15, she corrected him. 3 teams of 5. They disabled your security system from the gatehouse first, then jammed your communications. Classic extraction protocol. How do you know that?" Elena moved to his window and peered through the curtain with movements that reminded him of his security team. Professional. Trained. "They're using standard tactical formation," she continued, as if discussing the weather. "But they made 3 mistakes." "Elena, what are you talking about?" She turned from the window, and Marcus saw something in her eyes he'd never noticed before. Not fear. Focus. The kind of deadly calm he'd seen in war movies. "First mistake, they assumed your security team was your only protection. Second mistake, they came during the day when I'm here. Third mistake, they think this house only has the exits shown on public blueprints." Marcus felt like he was talking to a stranger wearing his maid's face. "Who are you?" "Someone who's kept you alive for 3 years without you knowing it." Elena walked to his bookshelf and pressed something behind the leather-bound volumes. A section of the wall swung inward, revealing a hidden passage. "There are 17 concealed routes through this house. I've memorized all of them." "How did you?" "Questions later, Mr. Chen. Right now we need to move." Marcus heard breaking glass from somewhere downstairs. They were inside. Elena reached under her cleaning cart and pulled out items that definitely weren't standard housekeeping supplies. A tactical knife that looked military grade. A small pistol that fit perfectly in her hand. And something that looked like a hand grenade. "Elena, what the hell is going on?" She looked at him with those dark eyes, and, for the first time in 3 years, she smiled. It wasn't a servant's smile. It was the smile of someone who'd been waiting for this moment. "My real name is Elena Reyes. Former Special Operations Command, Colombian National Army. 3 tours in Afghanistan, 2 in Syria. Specialty, high-value target protection and threat elimination." Marcus felt the world shifting around him. "You're my maid. I'm your bodyguard. I always have been." Heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway outside his study. Elena grabbed his arm with a grip stronger than he'd imagined possible. "We can discuss my employment history later. Right now, we run." She pulled him toward the hidden passage as his study door exploded inward. 3 men in black tactical gear burst through, weapons raised. They saw an empty room and rushed to check behind the desk. They never saw the section of wall sliding closed behind them. In the darkness of the passage, Elena's voice was steady and sure. "Stay close to me, Mr. Chen. Don't make any noise. And do exactly what I tell you, when I tell you. Elena, from now on," she whispered, "call me Reyes." Marcus followed her into the hidden corridors of his own house, led by a woman he'd never really known. Behind them, he could hear the intruders tearing apart his study, searching for him. They had no idea they were hunting a ghost. And they had no idea the ghost was hunting them back. The hidden passages in Marcus's mansion were like arteries through a body he'd never known existed. Elena Reyes moved through them with the confidence of someone who'd walked these routes 1,000 times. The walls were narrow, barely wide enough for two people, and Marcus struggled to keep up with her fluid movements. "How long have you known about these passages?" he whispered. "I mapped them my first week here. Your grandfather built this place in 1962. He was paranoid about the Cold War. Smart man." Reyes stopped at what looked like a dead end and pressed her ear to the wall. "They're in the main hallway now. Splitting up to search room by room." Marcus could hear muffled voices through the walls, orders being given in clipped, professional tones. These weren't random criminals. They moved like soldiers. Who are they? Expensive. Well-trained. Someone paid serious money for this operation. Reyes touched a hidden switch, and another section of wall opened silently. "The question is who wants you badly enough to hire military contractors?" They emerged into his wine cellar, 2 floors down from his study. The room held his collection of rare vintages, bottles worth more than most people's houses. Reyes closed the passage behind them and moved to a wine rack holding his 1947 Cheval Blanc. "I'm sorry about this," she said, and pushed the rack aside like it weighed nothing. Behind it was an arsenal that made Marcus's head spin. Weapons mounted on the wall in perfect order. Ammunition. Tactical gear. Communication equipment. Body armor. Jesus Christ, Elena. What is all this? Insurance. She selected a compact submachine gun and checked it with practiced efficiency. "Your father hired me 3 years ago. Not as a maid. As close protection. Deep cover. My father's been dead for 5 years. His instructions were very specific. Watch over you. Stay invisible. Keep you alive." Reyes strapped on a tactical vest and secured additional magazines. He knew this day would come. Marcus felt like the ground was shifting beneath his feet. Everything he thought he knew about his life was wrong. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because you're not very good at keeping secrets, Mr. Chen. Your father knew that too." The insult stung, but Marcus couldn't argue. He'd never been good at deception. His business success came from being straightforward, sometimes brutally honest. It worked in boardrooms but apparently not in survival situations. Reyes handed him a bulletproof vest. "Put this on. I don't understand any of this. Why would my father, your family's fortune didn't come from legitimate business alone." Reyes helped him into the vest, adjusting straps with military precision. "Your grandfather made deals with people who don't forget. Your father made enemies who pass grudges down to their children. And you've been walking around for 38 years thinking money made you untouchable." Marcus's hands shook as he fastened the vest. "So all these years, you've been watching me. Every day. I know your schedule better than you do. I know you drink your coffee black but add cream when you're stressed. I know you talk to your mother's picture when you think no one's listening. I know you haven't had a real relationship because you don't trust people to want you instead of your money." The intimacy of her knowledge was more unsettling than the weapons surrounding them. She'd been invisible, but she'd seen everything. "Why reveal yourself now?" "Because 15 trained killers are hunting you, and pretending to dust furniture won't stop them." A crash echoed from somewhere above them. They were tearing the house apart, room by room. Reyes moved to a bank of monitors hidden behind false wine bottles. Screens showed different views of the house, angles Marcus had never seen before, cameras he hadn't known existed. Men in tactical gear moved through his home like it belonged to them. They're professionals, but they're not perfect. Reyes pointed to one screen showing 3 men searching his master bedroom. They're rushing. Frustrated they can't find you. That makes them sloppy. What's the plan? We thin the herd. Marcus watched her study the monitors with the calculating gaze of a predator. This woman had spent 3 years serving him coffee and folding his laundry. Now she was planning to kill people in his house. Elena Reyes, we should call the police. The FBI. Someone. Communications are jammed, remember? And, by the time help arrives, you'll be dead and they'll be gone. She touched her earpiece. But, I'm not working alone. What do you mean? Your gardener, Miguel? Former Mexican Special Forces. Your chef, David? Ex-Navy SEAL. Your night security supervisor, Johnson? Delta Force, retired. Marcus stared at her. My entire staff? Your protection detail. We've been coordinating for 3 years, waiting for this day. The monitors showed the intruders moving methodically through the house. They'd found his safe room and were working to breach it, not knowing it was empty. Perfect distraction. Reyes activated her earpiece. Phoenix to Cardinal. Package is secure. Initiating thunderstorm protocol. Static, then, a voice Marcus recognized as Miguel, though he'd never heard the gardener speak English without an accent. Cardinal confirms. Teams positioned. Awaiting your signal. This is insane, Marcus whispered. This is survival. Reyes moved toward another hidden exit. Your father paid us very well to keep you alive. We take that contract seriously. She led him through another passage, this one angling upward toward the first floor. They could hear the intruders more clearly now, frustrated voices, equipment being moved, doors being kicked open. They think they're hunting one scared billionaire, Reyes said softly. They don't know they're trapped in a house full of ghosts. They reached a hidden observation point overlooking the main living room. 5 men were positioned there, checking weapons and communicating with other teams through their headsets. Professional setup, but Reyes watched them like a chessmaster studying a board. Team leader, 2 experienced operators, 2 newer recruits, she assessed quietly. The recruits are nervous. They keep checking their weapons. Liability. Marcus watched the men who'd come to kill him. They looked so normal, like executives in tactical gear. Evil was supposed to look different somehow. In 60 seconds, Miguel is going to create a distraction in the kitchen, Reyes continued. When they move to investigate, I take out the team leader and 1 operator. The recruits will panic. You're going to kill them. They came here to kill you, Mr. Chen. I'm going to prevent that. Her voice held no emotion, no hesitation. This was work to her. Marcus felt sick. I can't watch this. Then, don't. But, understand, your moral comfort doesn't matter right now. Survival matters. An explosion echoed from the kitchen, followed by shouts. The 5 men in the living room immediately moved toward the sound, weapons raised. Reyes smiled. Miguel always did love his flashbangs. She opened a panel in the wall and raised her weapon. The team leader was 15 feet away, focused on the kitchen. He never saw it coming. 2 suppressed shots. The leader dropped. His partner spun toward the sound, and Reyes put him down before he could raise his weapon. The 2 recruits panicked exactly as she'd predicted. One dove behind a couch, the other ran for the kitchen. Neither was thinking clearly. Reyes emerged from the hidden panel like a shadow made flesh. She moved across the room with surgical precision, eliminating threats with the efficiency of someone who'd done this many times before. In less than 30 seconds, 5 armed men were neutralized. Marcus threw up in the passage. When he finished, Reyes was back beside him, reloading her weapon. 10 left, she said calmly. They'll regroup now, call for backup. We need to end this before reinforcements arrive. Marcus wiped his mouth with shaking hands. How can you be so calm? Training. Experience. And the knowledge that those men would have tortured you for information before killing you. She checked her watch. Miguel and David are handling the kitchen team. Johnson has the upper floors. That leaves 6 unaccounted for. The monitors showed chaos throughout the house. Smoke in the kitchen, gunfire on the second floor. What had been a quiet Tuesday morning was now a war zone. This is my house, Marcus said numbly. It's a battlefield. And we're winning. Reyes led him toward another passage, but stopped when voices echoed nearby. Close. Too close. They found one of the passages, she whispered. Heavy footsteps moved through the walls around them. The hidden routes weren't secret anymore. New plan, Reyes said, checking her weapon. We go loud. Going loud meant abandoning stealth for direct confrontation. Reyes led Marcus through the passages with grim determination, but the sounds of pursuit were getting closer. The remaining attackers had found their hidden routes and were systematically cutting off escape paths. They're learning, Reyes muttered, pausing at an intersection of passages. Adapting faster than expected. Through the walls, they could hear coordinated movement. Orders being given. These weren't panicking anymore, they were angry, and anger made them dangerous in different ways. Phoenix, report status. The voice crackled through Reyes's earpiece. Johnson here. Upper floors secured, but they've got the main staircase locked down. 3 hostiles, heavy weapons. Miguel to Phoenix. Kitchen clear, but David took a hit. He's stable but out of action. Marcus felt the weight of guilt crushing him. People were bleeding because of him, because of his father's secrets, because of a past he'd never known existed. Reyes's voice remained steady. Cardinal, what's your position? Greenhouse. Got 2 trying to flank through the gardens. They don't know the terrain like I do. Copy. Johnson, can you reach the main security office? Negative. Too much heat. Reyes cursed in Spanish, something Marcus had never heard from his polite maid. She was calculating odds, running through scenarios in her head at lightning speed. We need communications, she said to Marcus. Your personal satellite phone, where do you keep it? My bedroom safe. But they've already been through there. They were looking for you, not equipment. It might still be there. The passage they were in ended at Marcus's walk-in closet. Reyes pressed her ear to the wall, listening. Silence from his bedroom beyond. Could be clear. Could be a trap. She looked at him with those dark eyes. Only one way to find out. She opened the hidden panel slowly, weapon raised. Marcus's bedroom was destroyed, furniture overturned, artwork shredded, his mattress cut open. They'd been thorough but hadn't found what they weren't looking for. His safe was hidden behind a painting of his mother. The portrait lay on the floor, glass shattered, but the safe was untouched. Marcus fumbled with the combination, his hands shaking. Hurry, Reyes whispered, watching the door. The safe opened. Inside were important documents, jewelry that had belonged to his mother, and the satellite phone he kept for emergencies. He'd never imagined an emergency like this. Reyes grabbed the phone and immediately started dialing. This is Reyes, authorization code Blackbird 77. We need immediate extraction, coordinates follow. She rattled off a series of numbers Marcus didn't recognize, but they must have been his property's location. Her voice carried authority that suggested this wasn't the first time she'd called for backup. Understood. ETA 12 minutes. Mark the LZ. 12 minutes. They had to survive 12 more minutes. Footsteps echoed in the hallway outside his bedroom. Multiple people, moving carefully. Reyes grabbed Marcus and pushed him toward the destroyed closet. They're coming. But, as they reached the hidden panel, it exploded inward. Someone had found the other end of the passage. 3 men in tactical gear emerged from the hole in his wall, weapons raised. At the same moment, his bedroom door burst open and 3 more poured in. They were surrounded. "Drop your weapon." The team leader's voice was electronically disguised, but Marcus could hear satisfaction in it. "We have you." Reyes stood perfectly still, gun pointed at the floor. 6 weapons were trained on them from different angles. No cover. No escape routes. Elena Reyes, the leader, continued. "Former Special Operations Command, Colombian Army. Impressive service record. Impressive kill count. You've done your homework. We know exactly who you are. We know about your team. We know about this entire operation." Marcus felt ice in his stomach. If they knew about Reyes and the others, this had been planned for more than just today. Someone had been watching him. Mr. Chen, the leader, addressed him directly. "Your father was a clever man. But not clever enough. What do you want?" Marcus's voice came out as a croak. "What we've always wanted. Information. Account numbers. Access codes. The location of certain items your family has kept hidden for 3 generations." Marcus had no idea what items they meant, but the way they said it suggested things more dangerous than money. "And if I don't cooperate? Then we kill everyone in this house, starting with the people who've protected you." Through his earpiece, Marcus could hear Johnson and Miguel still fighting on other floors. David was wounded somewhere. These people had come not just to take him, but to destroy everyone who'd kept him safe. "I'll cooperate," Marcus said quickly. "Just don't hurt them." "Marcus, no." Reyes's voice was sharp. "They're my responsibility. If my father made deals that put people in danger, I have to fix it." The team leader seemed pleased. "Smart choice. But first, your bodyguard drops her weapon." Reyes hesitated. Marcus could see her calculating odds, looking for angles. But 6 weapons against 2 people with no cover meant certain death. "Do it," Marcus told her. "Please." She looked at him for a long moment, then placed her gun on the floor and kicked it away. "Excellent. Now we can discuss business properly." But, as the team leader stepped forward, his confidence made him careless. He moved too close to Reyes, assuming a disarmed opponent was harmless. He didn't know about the knife. Reyes moved faster than Marcus's eyes could follow. The blade appeared in her hand from somewhere on her vest, and she had it buried in the team leader's throat before anyone could react. She grabbed his weapon as he fell and rolled behind Marcus's overturned dresser. "Down," she screamed to Marcus. The room erupted in gunfire. Wood splintered around them. Mirror glass exploded. Marcus pressed himself to the floor as bullets tore through everything above him. But Reyes was moving again, using the chaos to reach a different position. Her shots were precise, calculated. Marcus heard men screaming, the sound of bodies hitting the floor. When the shooting stopped, 4 of the 6 attackers were down. The remaining 2 had retreated to the hallway. "Phoenix to all units," Reyes called into her earpiece. "Main bedroom compromised. Need immediate support. Johnson here. On my way. Miguel here. Finishing with the garden team, then moving to you." Reyes reloaded behind the dresser. "How's your satellite phone working, Mr. Chen?" Marcus checked the device. "Still functioning. It's good. Call that number back. Tell them to mark our extraction point with smoke. We're going to need a hot pickup." Through the bedroom windows, Marcus could see black smoke rising from different parts of his property. His home was being systematically destroyed, but his protection team was winning. "Extraction in 8 minutes, the voice on the satellite phone confirmed." 8 minutes. Marcus had survived this long. He could make it 8 more minutes. Gunfire erupted from the hallway as Johnson arrived and engaged the remaining attackers. The sound was getting closer to the bedroom. "Time to move," Reyes said. "We're going to the roof." "The roof?" "Landing zone. Your father installed it for exactly this purpose." She led him to another hidden panel he'd never known existed, this one opening to a stairway that led upward. Emergency lighting came on automatically as they climbed. "All this time," Marcus said as they reached the roof access. "All these secrets in my own house." Your father was a complex man. He made hard choices to protect his family. They emerged onto the roof of his mansion. The Pacific Ocean stretched endlessly before them, beautiful and indifferent to the violence below. Marcus could see the entire scope of the battle now, smoke rising from different points on his property, men moving across his grounds, the organized chaos of a military operation. In the distance, he could hear helicopters approaching. "That's our ride," Reyes said, activating a flare that sent red smoke spiraling into the sky. "What happens now?" "Now we disappear for a while. Let the authorities clean up the mess. Let my contacts figure out who ordered this hit and why." The helicopter grew larger, a military transport painted in civilian colors. "Professional extraction, just like everything else about this operation. Will I ever be safe?" Reyes looked at him with something that might have been sympathy. "Mr. Chen, you've never been safe. You just didn't know it. But now you do, and that makes you stronger." The helicopter landed on his roof with precision, downdrafts scattering the red smoke. Johnson appeared at the roof access, supporting a wounded David. Miguel emerged from another stairwell, his gardening clothes replaced with tactical gear. They all looked like soldiers now. The illusion of his quiet domestic staff was completely gone. "Everyone accounted for," Miguel reported to Reyes. "Property secured. Local authorities will be here soon." As they boarded the helicopter, Marcus took one last look at his mansion. Broken windows. Smoke. Bodies on his lawn. The sanctuary of his wealth had become a battlefield. But he was alive. "Where are we going?" he shouted over the rotor noise. "Somewhere safe," Reyes replied. "While we figure out what your father hid that was worth 15 lives to find." The helicopter lifted off, carrying Marcus away from everything he thought he knew about his life. Below them, his estate grew smaller, but the questions grew larger. Who had sent these men? What had his father hidden? How many more enemies were out there, waiting for their chance? As they flew over the Pacific, Reyes handed him a secure phone. "Your new life starts now, Mr. Chen. First lesson: trust is something you earn through blood, not money. Your father earned it. These people proved it today." Marcus looked at his protection team, really seeing them for the first time. They'd risked everything to keep him alive. They'd known secrets about his family he'd never suspected. "What do I call you now? Elena or Reyes?" She almost smiled. "You can call me whatever you want, Mr. Chen. I'll still be watching your back." The helicopter banked toward the horizon, carrying them toward an uncertain future. But, for the first time in his life, Marcus felt like he understood the difference between being rich and being safe. They weren't the same thing at all.